And we have Joe tonight. We are blessed with Joe. So this club, this meeting takes a lot to get put on. We got, wait,
Just calm.
what's your name?
Al, George.
Mike is back.
Yes, I'm back.
And Mike is here.
Mike.
And Alvin is with us. And John, he volunteered to do something, and the first thing we did is put him to work, you know what I mean? And Larry is still not feeling very good, I take it?
He's not doing well.
He's not doing well? So Larry had,
Yeah, he had bowel obstruction, let's put it that way. So
diverticulitis.
he's got a colostomy now.
So Larry's not doing very good. And that's kind of what I'm talking about, you know. We're blessed to be here, okay? So just, you know, thank you. You guys stealing stuff out of the back end?
Sorry.
I had something else that I wanted to do. I forgot to write it down. And sorry, very sorry.
Nothing.
Mike, you wanted to say something. I knew there was something. Not you, Mike. This Mike.
I have plenty to say.
I want to make sure everybody signs in. There's more people here that are on the list. So come up and sign in. You can come up at the break, it's okay.
Barry, spell your name correctly this time, please.
Alan has graciously agreed to make new badges for everybody. They're going to be laser cut. So what we want everyone to do is to write down on this other sheet the name that you want to appear. Twinkle Toes is already picked, so you can go with some other name. But we've got,
Since you guys were texting back and forth. You guys.
but just put down what you want the name to appear. We also have the new membership card. This is the annual membership card. We redesigned it a little bit, a little heavier card. This card you use at Rockcliffe, for example, for their 10% off being a member. We'll try and get others as we go on, but right now at least we get a little discount at Rockcliffe.
Hey, Mike,
So-
does that still work for Woodcraft?
No.
Not anymore?
No.
This is for Rockwood.
Oh, this is for the club. That is only for Rockcliffe, but I don't know if Woodcraft gives us a discount also. This will work at Rockcliffe.
Okay.
This will work at
I do
Rockcliffe.
nothing.
And make sure you tell Rockland that you're a member of this club, because they go and give us 10%, or would say,
We
take
got-
their points, and then they go and give us a gift certificate and other things.
Rockwood gives us a gift certificate of $25 when there's, is it $25
When there's 10
people buy something. Okay? So the club will get a $25 gift certificate, which then shows up at the door price. That's the way we handle it. So this is only for Rockwood, but you don't need this if you have that. It's up to you what you want to carry. The other thing that's important, it's early in the game, but Joe was able to book us the Christmas party. It's December 11th. It's at the, somewhere in Sarasota Park. What is it called? It's called the Colonial Oaks Park. And I'll put it in the mail. But just so you know, block out December 11th, 5 to 9, we'll do that. We have somebody that used to have it at their house, but they want to take a trip, they want to remodel their house. It's entirely rude, but you know how it is. So we'll have it set up there. So.
And he used to cook, but now he doesn't cook.
Doesn't even cook anymore. The most important thing, make sure you get the raffle ticket. It's up to $170 today. So a $5 chance at $170. We have a tool sale that is a pretty good odds because not many people have bought the two plants today. There's only a few in there. But the raffle, again, keeps building. It was $135 this morning, and now it's $170 that you could win tonight.
Did you get money back from Marvin? Because he won yesterday. He should have.
I did. He did. He just bought me tickets.
All right, cool.
And I didn't even have to twist his arm.
Didn't you?
No, it was really good.
It was my idea.
Oh!
Turn them into new tickets.
Well, actually, it was my idea to make sure you had the idea. Thank you.
No, we're good. So where are we going to eat for dinner? Yep. Your turn?
My turn?
No?
Your turn?
No, I'm not
What
on
about
power.
guests?
I mean,
I'm not powered up yet.
guess?
Oh, you are.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Somebody forget
Okay, yes.
We got any guests? Yes, new people. Newbies.
No new people, one guest.
My wife, my chauffeur, they brought me today because I had surgery and
Yeah, I
I
work.
was okay to drive it. And my wife Carol, almost 52 years, so.
Very good.
2 years old, you robbed the crate?
52 years married.
Oh! That is awesome. Congratulations. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Next Wednesday, the 15th, 7 o'clock here?
Yep.
Yep, okay. Harold will be on. Let's get him hot.
You gonna do Turner's meeting?
Oh, Turner's meeting is on Monday, and we're doing a,
Christmas on.
Come on, think about it, think about it.
Got it. That's what he told me.
it's a Christmas ornament, so we're gonna make a little Christmas ornament, little thing on the thing. I learned how to do it, and we'll go from there. So we'll do a little oval shaped thing. You practiced that by then, so we don't, so I can remember what you said. I already made one, came out really good, so I gave it away because I had a brand new great grandbaby. Now we're up to 4, 5, 6, 7. Got 6 great grandbabies.
You getting old, man, with a birthday?
I know my wife's birthday, and that's the only thing I need to know. All the rest of them, okay? And I get a little text saying, hey, it is this one's birthday. Yes. Everybody know John?
If they don't, they will.
John, you will. John, it's all yours.
Okay.
Nice rags, huh?
Well, first off, we're gonna have a little commercial. I got a couple questions to ask you all. Number one, I'm curious to know how many of you are what I define as a commercial woodworker. In other words, somebody that builds stuff to sell. If I could see a show of hands. 1, 2. Okay. So everybody else is like me, DIYer. All right. Tonight you're going to endure what a scroll saw is. And it's this little instrument you're looking at sitting here. This one,
right?
this one I acquired about 11 years ago, used. So I have no idea how old it is. Shortly after we moved over here in 2019, I sent it up to Tampa. DeWalt had a refurbishing service center up there. And so I had him go through it and refurbish it. And probably cost me as much to have that done as the thing is worth, you know. But anyway, it's still going, so that's the main thing. What a scroll saw is really nothing but 2 bars that are attached to each other that work up and down together, and they hold a little tiny saw. And if we could get the camera here, hey, you're not going to sit down. I'm standing. If you can get a close-up on these little these are the scroll saw blades that we use. This is a number 1, 5, and 9. They go up a little higher than that, I think, but 9 is usually the common one that we use. Now I'm going to be using the number 5 for a little bit here tonight. Actually, the scroll saw is a fairly safe device. It's not like your bandsaw where, you know, you can cut your finger off and not even know it. This you know, it'll still cut your finger, but you'll
know it.
You'll get the pain first before you get too far in. So that's one thing. I do usually wear a dust mask when I'm cutting because You get a lot of sawdust out of this. This one has a little motor on the side. About the only maintenance you have to do on it is occasionally check. It's got brushes in here that are little carbon pieces that make the motor go around, and sometimes they wear out, so you have to make sure to check those once in a while. I am negligent about that. This particular unit has a speed controller here. It's a variable speed system. It has an on-off switch here. One thing about this particular brand is the on-off switches have a very large tendency to go bad. And so I use a foot switch all the time with it. I just leave it on and use a foot switch. And make sure while I'm not around the saw that I've got the foot switch somewhere where nobody will step on it. Because the thing would start running if it did.
Cut your finger.
Yeah, I cut my finger, yeah. I could do that without the saw. These blades are so small that it's very hard to sometimes tell which is the front and which is the back, but if you carefully run your finger or your fingernail up the saw, you'll soon find where the teeth are. The other problem a lot of times is deciding which is the top and which is the bottom, because in many cases these blades have what they call reverse teeth on the bottom of the saw, so that when it comes down, when it goes back up, the reverse teeth help clean the cut up, so you don't get a lot of tear out when you're using a reverse tooth saw. There's a little saw holder. Are we on here? Okay. So what I usually do when I get ready to set up something, let me make sure I got the top and the bottom right. I usually just stick it in the top holder, and then there's a bottom holder down underneath the table. And yeah, I got it. I'll take it stretch that one out. Now, probably one of the first things you should do, of course, you put some tension on that. This is a tension control. And the first thing you need to do is, especially after I've disassembled and reassembled this thing, is to check to make sure your table is square with the saw. So I got this nice big block that, is not going to go out of square. And so I can ease it over there and sight up the side of the block with the saw, and it looks good. It looks like it's in good shape, so that's the end of that. Another thing about this particular saw, you can loosen it up and the table tilts. If you're doing some sort of an angle cut, you need to do a certain angle cut. It'll tilt from side to side. So that's the newer saws that are coming out, but they call them professional saws. This is a medium type saw. But the professional saws, they have the table that stays stationary, and this whole part tilts back and forth. So your work is always in front of you, and you don't have to be on the side trying to hold it up and keep it along the line and everything. It can get a little intensive. Now I've got a piece of, this was supposed to be a puzzle for a cardinal. So I started it, I cleaned up some of it before because I didn't want to take up the whole hour of just doing one thing. And so please, if you have a question or anything, please stick your hand up or yell out. Probably yell out's better because I'm not always paying attention to you folks up here. So I'm going to show a little bit about cutting. And this is just a straight cut, nothing fancy. See if I can get the foot switch here where I can reach it. I wear a pair of magnifiers because it helps me concentrate on the line, and also if I make a little mistake, it looks big in the magnifying, but it doesn't look so big when you see it without glasses. So now turn the light on so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Come on. get my decibel reading here. But basically, it's just follow the line as you go around the piece.
Are you using a spray adhesive?
Yeah, and you know, I used it a few days ago and it may be drying out on me. I had to buy the new stuff, the Gorilla Glue. They didn't have what I usually use, which is, oh, I can't think of the name of it now, but anyway. And that's what I'm wondering if that's not, because this is just flying off of there. So that's not going to be very good for us. Anyhow,
The masking tape is so you're not glued directly to the wood.
well, yeah, the blue tape is put on here for two reasons. One, they tell me that using the blue tape helps lubricate the blade as it's cutting through it. Number two, it's so much easier getting it off, the pattern off of the wood. If you glue this pattern directly to the wood, you're talking about acetone to take it off if it's been on there for a while. And
Where'd you get the patterns from?
this pattern came from a fellow by the name of Steve Good, Scroll Saw, Scroll Saw Workshop. He has thousands of patterns on his website, and they're all free.
Oh, free.
All free. He does ask for a donation, so send him, 25 bucks once in a while.
Okay.
He has a daily log, he's a daily email, he's designs new patterns constantly. He has the pattern design software available if you want it. I don't think he charges for it either.
John, what was his name again?
Steve Good. And just Google Scroll Saw Workshop and you'll see his. He's got YouTube videos. Some of them are reviews of saws and stuff like that, so it's a good source. I've got some handouts here. I only printed a dozen of them. I didn't know if everybody wanted one or not, but with some other stuff. There's a company called the Wooden Teddy Bear. They have a lot of patterns. They sell a lot of other items.
Can you hold that up with the camera, Alan?
Yeah. You get that?
Yep.
Oh. Okay. He shakes less than I do. Yeah, there's Wooden Teddy Bear, they're commercial. Scroller Patterns, I think, are commercial. There's another company called Scrollmania.com. They have a lot of software, especially if you're doing bowls or anything. And then, of course, Fox Chapel is the publication company that publishes Scroll Saw Woodworking and Craft magazine. But, they want money for their magazines, so. Then you got magazines. Terry Bear gave me some older magazines, and I went through them, took what I wanted out. I made copies of what I wanted out of them. Love copy machines. And so I brought them in tonight. Anybody, please take a few. I've got so many I don't know what to do with now, and I'm going to be like Terry. I'm going to have to be bringing them up here and giving it to you. So somebody finally asked about the blue tape, but that's what the blue tape is. And normally, the pattern will stick to the wood like crazy. And here now it's the tape sticking to the wood like crazy. So best laid plan's crazy, but
You take the back too?
yeah, I take the whole thing. It's easier than having to cut it off all the time. Just tape right around it. And that way this
Is that painter's tape?
painter's tape, yeah, it's just plain painter's tape. Buy it at Walmart for, $4 or $5 a roll. And, when I first started, I put the pattern directly onto the wood, and oh my God, the problems I had trying to get it off. So that's what I'm saying, that's why the comment about acetone. It just drives you nuts. Yeah, I can't. That's probably what happened. This has been sitting out in my hot garage for a few days, and everything has decided to accept the pattern. Okay. Well, anyway, that's how it all works. Then we may have, oh, okay. I didn't put that back in there, but, well, then what I did, once I got my pieces cut, I just took a little sander and sanded around the edges and rolled them over a little bit so it makes it look like a real, you know, like a puzzle that you'd buy in the store. And these are very popular. People, this is the first one I've ever done, but every magazine I get, there's at least one puzzle in it, so I assume that it's a very popular thing amongst scroll swallowers. And it's fairly easy to do. Next thing people may be wondering about is when we have something like this, and we have to cut something inside, or we just can't cut across and go there. How do we do it? Well, we drill a hole in that waist area. You drill a little hole in the waist area, and then you come over here, you take your blade and you work your blade. Let's see, let me get my helper here. Steve has a thing that you can cut out called D and Walt. And that's what you use for holding the upper part of the saw with. Yeah. Slow this down a little bit. See if that lasts. Now when I have a V shape like that, I usually try not to spin the wood. I try to attack it from both sides. For some of the better strollers, they can spin this wood and you never know it. I'm not getting any blow out here. Yeah, listen, the pattern's doing the same thing.
I put clear packing
Okay.
You put clear packing tape?
Yeah, packing tape.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything with the blade?
What's that?
He said he put clear packing tape over the top of that, his pattern. I was asking him if
Oh,
he did any.
oh, you can do that too, yeah. Yeah. But the glue that you spray on, you know, does a better job of fixing this than the other tape, because you cut off the other tape
Right.
and the pattern.
Do both. No, what he's saying is you do both to protect the pattern.
Yeah, well, the pattern's going to get cut up no matter what you do, so. You know, you make sure you have a duplicate or two. But anyway, that's the way this works. And you just keep cutting out the little spaces, and then you get something like, then you get to tackle something like this.
Oh, yeah.
And for each one of those little holes, you have to stick it over the thing. This I just kind of finished up just recently, so it hasn't even been to show and tell yet.
We could put you on tonight.
Well, they're seeing it now, so. And these are some of the things that you can make.
Did you make all these with that?
Yes. Yeah, I only have the one scroll saw. And so everything you see here tonight was stuff that I've made over the last few years. That I know was shown at Show and Tell. It's kind of interesting.
We're old, we forget.
Yeah, I do too. This was one of my first pieces that I did. My girlfriend was into hummingbirds, and so I found this pattern and did this for her one day. I think for Christmas I did it for her. So that was kind of a fun piece to do. All right, gift box. Here it is. Okay, some people do 3D items on a scroll saw. And these are kind of neat. Here's a couple that I used red wood dye on. It's not exactly Christmas color, but it's close. It's red. So I did one of these, and it took so long that I said I don't want to spend the whole night cutting this. But you start out with in this case, a square piece of wood. This is about 1.5 by 1.5 inch. Come on, don't have to do that. You apply the pattern is made so that it fits on the corner of the wood. And then what you do is you cut one side and you retain all the pieces that you've cut off, wrap it in clear packing tape, and then you cut the other side. And that's what I've done with this piece because I knew how long it was going to take to do it. So I haven't seen the inside of it yet, so we're unveiling it. Okay. Huh. Whoops. One piece left in there. What is that? One tiny little piece that didn't get cut. How about that? There it is. And I even got the hole in the top in the center. How about that? That's new for me. So, but you can see how it all falls apart and makes a big mess. But these are really fun to do. I like doing these, and these are fun to do. The one problem when you have one kind of like this, it's a little hard to paint in all these little holes. So I got the brilliant idea. I said, hey, I've got this wood dye. I said, I'll just make myself a little bucket of it and just dunk them. And I just kept dunking it, and it kept getting better and better and better, and darker and darker. And
How long did it take you to make that?
I would probably take a good half hour probably, because of all the stopping and having to wrap it again and then recut it. It really depends on what type of blade you're using. I was using a very slow blade, but it came out quite good. I'm surprised. That's a good thing. Anyway, so that's something else that you can do with the scroll saw and have some fun with. toward Christmas time, they have, the books have a lot of these in them. And I think you can find it. I can't remember if Steve has any on his website or not, but I had enough of these. I didn't really go looking for those.
Do you have to sand that when you get done, or is it?
Yeah, you'd have to sand it just like cutting out of a piece of wood.
Okay.
So you'd have to sand it down a little bit. And of course it's hard to get in. This one's not too bad because it has this big hole, but these little ones are, good luck on sanding these.
John, what size is your pilot hole do you normally use?
It depends on what I'm working on. If I've got something like this where I've got a lot of waste wood, see the pattern had this, you know, big piece, and actually the rest of it you didn't need a pilot hole for. And so I try to use something, you know, halfway up to maybe a 1/4 inch. If it's something else, like when I'm doing some of these type of things, I'm down to a 1/16 of an inch. Because you just don't have, especially on this thing, you don't have much waste wood in there. You know, you're cutting such a small hole out.
What's the width of the blade?
The blade will, most of the blades will go through a 1/16.
No, yeah, but what's the width on the blade?
Oh, I have no idea. You want to get out your magnifier and measure?
Nope, can't see that small. I was wondering,
No, go ahead.
oh, I was just wondering, you said
Yeah.
16th hole, so it's gotta be smaller than a 16th.
Yeah,
Fits
yeah.
together.
Sometimes I've seen them say something about, what is it, 3/32 or something? Some of them, but I don't have any drill, well, I have some, but, you know, I don't normally use them.
John,
Yeah, Bear.
Olson Saw Blades, if you go to their website, they have a sheet of all the scroll saw blades, all the dimensions of them, what your pilot hole needs to be, and you can just print it out. It's a real handy guide. It'll tell you what's the best blade for what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've got one of their sheets in my blade box, so. Yes, sir.
Are you using pin blades?
No, I'm using pinless.
Pins, okay.
Yeah, this machine does not take pin blades. There's no way to use those on it. And as far as keeping the blade from slipping, some people seem to have a problem with that. A lot of people have a tendency to over-tighten the mechanism, and it can cause the other side to wear down a lot quicker, and then you're starting to get slipping and stuff.
Is it cut on the downstroke?
Pardon?
Is it cut on the downstroke?
Yes. Yes, it cuts on the downstroke. That's why you have to make sure that your reverse teeth are down on the bottom so they come up and, you know, bump the thing, and of course you want to check. This machine only has about a 3/4 inch cut. And I know on the newer ones, they're talking about, I can only get about 1.5 inches, 1.75 in this machine. But on the new ones, they're advertising 2 inches. Now, I don't know how they're measuring that, but that's what they advertise. By the way, you can buy this machine today from Amazon for $4.99, or you can go to Rockler and pay $5.99 for it. That's your choice.
John?
Yes, sir.
Hey, John, I got a question.
Okay.
On your, when you buy new blades,
Yeah.
do you have trouble with the oils on them, like not holding in the holders?
No, I've never had any problem with the blades in that respect. I've never noticed them having much oil on them. You usually buy them in a bundle of a dozen.
Right.
And what did I do with my blade box? Here it is. Now these are all the blades that I haven't gotten to. There's, if you want to take a look at it, there's your thing on the blade stuff, all the details. When I first started, put them in a little test tube. These are plastic test tubes. And I think, yeah, Wooden Teddy Bear, they sent you a nice little label to put on the test tube. So when you bought them. So I have a bunch of those, and I just have a bunch of them that come, you walk into Rockler, one of the stores, they just sell you like this. And I've just been too lazy to transfer them to the test tube and try to mark it somehow, so. Just leave it in the top, it fits. And, I probably got more blades here than I ever would use, but that answers some of your questions.
And yeah, there's a pilot hole for every bit.
Yeah. So, but that's, I found this container that's just right for keeping all that stuff together, so. Oh, come here. Another fun thing is we can make little vases. And this is the center part of the vase. And let me cut the other side of this vase. This is another way to cut corners. You've got a little waste wood out there, you can go out and do a loop. Now you notice I got 2 pieces. That's what they call stack cutting. Stack your wood together, put your pattern on top, and tape it all together. And you stack. So now what happens is these 2 go on each side of this, and you sand it down, and glue it up. Now on this particular one, the fellow had the decoration on the front. So once you cut it out, then you can go ahead and do your decoration, what you want to cut into it. And you come up with a little vase, such as, where did it go? Such as this. So that's another neat thing you can do, and it's very easy. And Steve has a bunch of those. He's got a ton of vases on his website, so you'll be able to find a lot of that.
Is the cutting speed just by feel? You just, after
Yeah, you
just get a feel for it?
Yeah, just like I changed it when I started cutting. This happens to be oak. I just had some thin oak laying around, and so I went ahead and realized, okay, I'm into heavier wood, and I can't, I need some more speed, so speed it up a little bit. You get all sorts of little things that you get used to on it, and try to cut it to stuff. See, of course, in that one the pattern all came off, but the nice part of using the tape is you pull it off, and you got a nice clean surface. You don't have to worry about any spray or anything else. If I had some fingernails, I'd be able to do it. But anyway, so that's that. Okay, and then, let's see, I had something else on the basis. Okay. Let's see, let's take this out. This is what you do with the leftover 2x4 from the 2x4 thing. I even made the wheels. This is a project that I did, obviously used the scroll saw to cut and do all the cutting in the grills and so forth. The wheels I bought. I cheated on those. And I think the headlights I bought, but everything else I made. Maybe this spool I bought that has a thing. So that's something else. Now another thing that I've recently gotten into, oh, I know what I was going to do. This I haven't recently gotten into, but I forgot it. Something called Intarsis. This is where you take wood and use the color of the wood to make a pattern. Can you get that? Or am I shaking too bad? Okay. And let's see, what did I do with the big piece? Where did that big piece go, Pat? You had it last.
I stuck in the truck.
Is it over there? But this is a big piece of, I did a while back. I don't know if I ever brought it up here or not, but this was fun trying to figure out all the different angles and cutting. I did cheat, since I didn't have any yellow heart, I went ahead and used a little wood dye and dyed a piece of wood yellow. So you can see it's kind of faded over the years. It was a lot brighter than that. So this has been hanging in our lanai. We have a closed-in lanai, so it's not out to the weather. But
So you did that without a pattern?
no, this had a pattern to it. I took some liberties. The windows are blue spruce. Is that right? It's the one where the bugs have killed it and stained the inside of the tree. Then I got into making baskets. And this is kind of neat. Now here we actually get into using the angle of the blade or the angle of the table, tilting the table to make the cuts as you go around. And this is just multiple cuts, and then you just offset them a little bit, and it's all put together with super glue. So, and then I got somewhere, I came across doing a bowl. I think this was one of the first ones I did. I never liked the way it came out as far as the finish is, but then as it aged, it got nicer and nicer. So I thought, gee, that's pretty good. So that's the first one I did. And then for Christmas, my girlfriend bought me a book on making bowls. And so I've kind of gone nuts with my bowl making. Now these two, paper off of this one. These two, you actually do a glue up of various pieces of wood. And then, of course, if you have access to a planer, you can plane it and make sure both sides are nice and flat, which I don't, so I do the best I can. And then you cut them out with the circles at an angle and put them together. And in this case, these I think were all supposed to be straight, and they didn't come out that way, so I just ran them down, did them, and said, well, that's cute. This one, sitting up on the shelf. This one, it was kind of unique. I did one before and it didn't come out too good. And I knew it was in the glue up. When I was doing the glue up, I didn't do it right. I didn't follow the guy's instructions. And sometimes you're supposed to do that, you know. On this one, I followed them closer. It still didn't come out perfect, but it came out better. and I haven't had a chance to get back to doing any more since then. But these were all a glue up where these are actually straight pieces of wood, and then as you cut them with the circles, they bend around and make these cute little things on the side like this. So,
Do you sand them after you glue them up?
oh hell yes, a whole lot of sanding. Well, no, you mean the glue up, or do you mean,
You make them in pieces.
yeah, you make rings. These are all cut as rings. And then you put them together and you glue up, like I'll glue up on this one, this is 3, I'll glue up 2 and then sand those 2. Then I put the third one on, sand it, before I ever put the bottom on. Because otherwise, how are you gonna sand it? And I have a,
I stick it in the lathe and turn it.
well, we know that. Some of us aren't fortunate enough to have room for a lathe, so, you know, we have to do something to.
What do you use to sand it?
I use I bought a pneumatic sander. It's about this long, and I chuck it into my drill press. And I got the drill press, you know, down slow, and I just sit
You
there.
have a lathe.
Huh?
You have a lathe.
No, it's called a tubular sander. I have one of the other type of sanders, but the thing runs too fast, and I don't like handling stuff over there with that. And but I found with this pneumatic, it's by pneumatic I mean it has a bladder inside of it, and you put the sleeve on, and then you fill it with air, and it makes a nice hard thing, and it stays that way for quite a while. And I just sand them that way, you know, working on the drill press, and you can get them down pretty well. And then I found a thing here again. I think it was on maybe Steve Good, making a vase the same way, different type of vase, doing the same thing, cutting rings, and of course on this one you cut an opposite ring to put on the top to make a little lip. And so that's.
How thick are those rings?
That's cool.
These are about 1/4 inch.
1/4 inch?
Yeah. There's a whole thing in the Scrollmania website has information on. You can put in the height of the ring, the thickness that you want the ring, and it'll come back and tell you what angle to cut it at. So. I didn't know. That's another one. This is another one that I cut out that's kind of cool. And then I saw an article about a different type of bowl. And in this one, you just cut ribs and then glue them together. And I didn't like the way the ends were left because they just had a thing, so I took on this piece and ran it through the router and routed out a little bit of the wood so that it would fit over the end and make a nice tight end.
Can't put that in lathe.
No, that's for sure.
Just once, Pat.
Pat and his lathes. And then here's something else you can do. Space fell off. But anyway, this thing it's got a bunch of gears in it. And it's going to fall all apart before I get it done here. Demonstrated. There it is. Okay. And anyway, it's supposed to go like that, but it's all falling apart on me here. There. So these is, this was my first attempt at making gears. And one of my ambitions someday is to make a real wooden clock. One that's made out of all wood. I think that'd be really a cool project. Not sure I can ever get it done, but. And I think that's about it. Any more questions, please?
That's awesome.
Alrighty, well, like I said, thank you for inviting me.
You're good. So you like those little skinny blades, huh? Excuse me. No.
Well, the number 9 blade is the biggest one that they have. I usually use 5s.
What's the size, the number and size? Is it like inverse? This is like a...
That's a 5. And
That was awesome, wasn't it?
Yes.
Look at, that's made with a saw.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
You don't need a lathe.
I wanna see him get it all back in the box.
Now, if you want to get dizzy, let me keep flashing this around just a little bit for you, okay? That's pretty cool. Thanks, John. It was awesome. Okay, where's the other speaker thing? It's over here. Guess whose turn it is?
Mike?
Long hair.
I don't think Pat does enough.
You need some braids, or some pins,
I just need a
or
hat,
something.
that's it.
You know what I mean?
Just a hat.
I got a Trump hat out in the car. You want one?
I'll wear it, I'm not scared. Oh, it is on. Oh, there's the light. Now I see it. My hair was in my eyes. Mike, Wood, you're first up.
Okay. Mike Wood. That's hard. Marvin, dude. I got 2 things tonight, and there are 2 new things that I tried. First is this, if you could hold it up to the camera. Hold it up to the camera, that camera. So, I've always seen the wave cutting boards and things like that. I never tried to make one. I made this, and I made the thin wood exactly the size of the blade, so the walnut grain is continuous. So it's a .02 thick wood strip in there. Use the contrasting color so you can highlight it. You can pass it around if you want. And what I did is I challenged to see what I needed. I used a 1/2-inch bandsaw blade because you wander too much with the smaller bandsaw blade. I drew it out on pencil and then somewhat followed the line. It didn't always come exactly. But with that, I also wanted to challenge how tight of a curve you could make. So the really big arch in there is about all you could do until you split even that tiny wood. But it was so fun to make that and to just let the artistic, when I made it, I also said it can't stay rectangular. So I made a wave on the top, and I decided to name it the wave cutting board, just because. So,
You do
I like
one
it.
cut at a time.
One cut at a time, glue it, one cut, glue it. And then what you have to make sure you do is align it perfectly.
And that was a scroll saw you used?
Bandsaw. I used the bandsaw to cut it, 1/2-inch blade on the bandsaw. And like I said, so I had to, on the table saw is how I made the thin strip. But you can't make it that thin on the what do you call it? That side of the blade.
I don't know.
Oh, fence.
Fence, that's the word, fence, I just crushed that. So what I did, actually Greg had made some little right angle things using the magnet last year. I used that as the straight edge to come off the blade on the drop side. So I just moved the fence, touched that, and now I have a nice thin strip, and I used the mic in order to get the exact dimension of that. And being that thin, it's easy to be flexible, but you can't make right angle turns with it. So it's just kind of fun. Just kind of fun to do. I made another one out of bamboo with walnut, and I gave that one away, and it really is sharp when you have the bamboo and the walnut right next to it. Two nice things. That one's for you later. I'm gonna get it, you know, I thought Mother's Day to your wife was when I was thinking you're gonna give it to her.
You're on top.
So, and this is something I designed and made. I hate coffee. I don't like it at all, but I had guests coming over, and all I have is the old kind of coffee pot with the old filter, and nobody uses that, the coffee goes bad, so okay, I'm gonna make something. If you went to the picnic, you saw one of the other ones I made, and what was interesting about, I designed this and made it, this one holds 15, the other one I made holds 12. I made it for a friend, but I found out she uses the espresso cups, which are smaller than the K cups. So it's totally useless. But it was fun to make. What's interesting about this, this dimension is 2 inches. So I wanted to figure out, okay, how far apart to put them so you can still grab them conveniently.
All right.
So you gotta get the spacing right. And I didn't want them all in a row because then it's gonna be too wide. I wanted to angle it so it's on the countertop. And you kind of play with it. The 45 is too far back, so I made it a 60-degree angle. Which then, of course, means you have the problem with cutting this triangle. Now, the 30-60 triangle angle, so 30-60-90, and then you get the 1, 2 square root of 3 is the dimension, so it's not hard to measure. But I wanted it to be really noticeable because it kind of blend with it, so I made it nice and thin, and I made it short. And guess what I forgot? I forgot gravity. When you have this angle, your center of gravity moves. So when I made the first ones, they were too short, and it tipped over. It wouldn't stand up. So I had to make the bigger ones a little bit longer and a little bit thicker, so gravity works every time. Let me tell you. But it was fun to make. I just designed it.
Very nice.
There you go.
So it's been about a year since I had my lathe hooked up. And I got it finally hooked up a couple weeks ago, and I had these pieces of board laying in my shop. I guess that's curly maple, a piece of cherry, and that piece I'm not sure what it is. So anyway, I made them round on the bandsaw, and then I put them in the lathe. First thing I did is, what do you call that, Tom? It's not the tenon, but it's the spigot. I put my chuck in, and I made the bowls before. Y'all might have seen the bowls where I put the epoxy resin in the shells on the top ridge of the bowl. So I wanted to do, I had this idea to do the platters, because it's only like a 3/4 inch thick board. But I wanted to do the platters and then turn the wood all the way off, so you could see through the epoxy. So I made 3. And so here, I brought these simply so you could see how I go about cutting them out to form it, to put the shells and the epoxy in there. So what you have to do first is you have to paint, after you turn it out, you paint that with epoxy with a sealant, just very thin, and that seals the wood, because if you just pour the epoxy on the wood, bubbles keep coming out of the wood. And then you have to do a second pour, very thin, so that the shells don't go all the way down to the bottom, because when you turn the wood off in the back, you don't want to be hitting the shells. So you do a real thin pour, then you do a third pour, another thin pour, just enough to lay your shells in, so that when that pour dries, the shells are glued down, because otherwise the shells float, because they have air bubbles in them. And then you do the deep pour. And then, now you're ready then to turn the wood off on the side and all the way around the back. And then you do the bar top pour. So there's actually 4 pours. And then you put bar top on there. And this is the finished product. So I did the bar top pour before I turned the center out. And that way, if I get any bar top spillage down on there, I can just turn it all out. And then after I'm done with that, I turn it around and I have to paint bar top on here so it's real thin so it doesn't run down over the side that's already done. And I didn't trust myself, so I put tape around there. And you want to make it real thin so that you can't feel that edge. So then after that's all done, then I jam chuck it on my lathe and I cut the back off the spigot. I turn that all off just with the jam chuck, and then I cut the nubbin off last. Actually, I used the vacuum chuck on my lathe to suck this on so I could cut that nubbin off. And I'll tell you what, I was pretty nervous because there was nothing much holding it on there. If that thing would have come off, I would have been pretty disappointed. But so that's the process of how I make that.
Very good. Very good.
How's the dust collector working?
Pat? Pat?
I go to turning club, and I got this piece of wood from it. And what'd you call it?
Fogwood.
Fogwood. This is fogwood. Anybody know what fogwood is?
Found on ground.
It grew from the ground too, so I don't have any idea. But it turned it, and it just came out. It's very rustic, so it's kind of nice. So, last turning meeting we had, where'd yours go?
I don't know. There it is.
There. What's his name over here? Showed us how to turn this, which is, you know, the only reason to do this for somebody to go, well, how the hell did you do that, you know? So I had to turn one just to make sure I remembered it, because if I'd have waited a week, I forgot it. So I found another piece of cedar and I turned it out. I haven't got the back done yet, but that's just in case I want to go back in here and do a little bit more. But it's cool.
It gives you a place to put your crackers so they don't get wet.
Crackers.
For your soup.
Maybe I put some slots in here, put round crackers in there.
All right. Is it Todd?
Yeah.
Todd.
Oh, I'll do it for you. You got it?
There you go. I got it. I won't drop it.
No worries. So the first thing I guess is, sorry I missed the picnic and the 2x4 contest, but this was going to be the entry for it. I wanted to make it for quite a while, but I was going to do it out of walnut, and I've never really done a 2x4 challenge before, so I'm like, we'll give this a shot. So I started looking around, and I saw a lot of just bottle carriers, and then I saw some with bottle openers on the side, but I wanted to kind of make this a little bit unique. So what I did is, on the other side, I incorporated an acoustic speaker where you can put your phone in there and then just play your music.
Cool.
That's nice.
So that was that's all. Yeah.
Pat? That's all for show and tell.
Okay, it's drawing time. And I forgot to mention, for the K-Cup holder, if anyone wants that, please take it, because I have really no use for it. Let's do the door prize first. We have 34 signed up, so your chances are 1 in 34, 3% chance of winning. Number 23, Tom Falcone. We have 3 prizes up here, caliper, and this is a woodpecker tool where it's 3/8 inch on one side, 3/4 inch on the other side, edge rule. It's an edge rule, caliper, and a height gauge.
Straight line stuff, Tom doesn't want.
Yeah, you don't deal with straight lines. What do you need that for? Okay? Number 24 is John, our presenter.
John, come on down.
Come on down. A height gauge or a caliper, digital caliper. And the third one is?
Number 22.
What is this? 22, 23, 24? Randy,
Randy.
you. You're one of the height gauge, I know.
I'll tell you.
Some things measure up around here.
Wait on me.
Yep. It's over there. All right, this is for the 2 jet clamps. Seems like enough people have clamps, so we're a little bit light on the raffle, so your chances of winning just went up.
Did the best I could.
All right. Since everybody loved your treats tonight, you get to pick the vendor.
All right.
First 3 numbers, 577. Last 3, 870. 870. There you go.
Mr. Carver.
Very good. Master. Mr. Master.
No, dude.
Now you can hold that mouse down and get a hold of it.
Yeah, for our Carver's class. Okay, we started with $135, and if I remember right, it's 40? No. More than that. 60 more. So $195 is the prize money tonight. Last chance, anyone else want to buy me a ticket? You can't pick your own name, okay?
What if?
You're disqualified. Oh, I didn't put the cards out, so all you get to choose from are the cards that already been picked, sorry. Put the cards out. I'm just gonna lay them down. Okay, again, you're gonna pick one of those cards. The 5 of clubs is still in there, that wins $5. The Ace of club wins the pot, which is $180. Bill
Now it's 180.
Clark, where is he?
Up in Rhode Island.
195? He's gone? All right, then what we do if you're not here is we pick for them. So we'll pick a card for that person. You wanna pick it, Mike? So he can yell at you if he loses? Yeah. 5 of clubs, so he wins $5. So that means the next time we're down to 6 cards. And the pot starts at $190 because we take $5 out. So, next time, bring your cash, okay? Your odds go up. That's all I had. Do you have anything else, Pat?
Do I have anything else?
Yeah.
Has anybody got anything else? You know, it's great to have you here. It really is. I enjoy it. What, you didn't want to hear me? Is that what you're trying to say?
I didn't want to hear me take it off my head.
It's a pleasure having you. Have a safe trip home.
Thank
It's
you.
good to be here.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.